Hey everyone, it's Aisha, and this video is brought to you by Matthew. Today's topic is modern CDS architectures, your FHIRs, your CDS hooks, and smart on FHIR. Okay, the why, the clinical gap. For example, there is information overload. Doctors handle 50 plus lab results and 20 plus medications per patient. Human memory alone is not enough. It is as if you're going to a foreign country and you're following the paper map. You don't need that. You need a GPS, and that is telling you and whispering you the directions in real time, right? So we're going to take a medical example for that, alerting a clinician that a newly prescribed drugs interacts with a 10-year-old diagnosed parent in the chart. Okay, your evolution of CDS technology, how it evoluted over the time, your Gen 1, the paper, the textbook era, the manual lookup of guidelines, that when you used to use textbooks, papers, and all that for your guidelines. Gen 2, your hard-coded, your walled gardens, your logic built directly inside the EHR, your electronic health records. Then Gen 3, your interoperable, your FHIRs, your CDS hooks, your external brain for the EHR. You're using an external brain for it. And then comes the Gen 4, which is your AI and ML, your machine learning, your predictive and probabilistic decision supports. You're using analysis for that. You're predicting things. Okay, you have rule-based architecture, the cooking recipe. Okay, deterministic if then logic. If creatinine is high, it suggests that the lower drug dosage 100% transparent, but it is hard to maintain at that scale. So your basics, what are the basics? Your Boolean logic that relies on expert defined thresholds. It doesn't learn from the data. It enforces a known clinical standard rigidly. It's not learning, it's rigidly imposing what it knows, the clinical standard it knows. Okay, then we have ML based architecture, the wine critique. Instead of your hard rules, the system look at the patterns. It tries to figure out that rather than just looking at these rigid rules, let's look at the patterns. This patient feels like the thousand sepsis patients I've seen before. So the mechanism it's following, it's like probabilistic scores, like 85% risk, rather than the binary alerts. It requires a vast historical data sets to train the brain. Okay, so you're training it, and then you have an HDS challenge with it that is explaining that why behind the prediction, your black box and your versus your glass box. We're gonna look into them, what these are. Sounds interesting, right? So you have architecture comparison, you have the features, you have the rule-based experts, you have the ML-based predictive. Your logic type, your deterministic. It is if or then kind of a thing. And it is probabilistic, it's statistical kind of an MO-based prediction. If you go to the transparency, you have high. And it is glass box. In the glass box, you have high transparency. It is variable to the black box. And then you have adaptability. It is rigid. It requires manual updates. You're supposed to manually update the data all the time you are using it. And then you have ML-based predictive. It's dynamic. It learns from the new data. You have use case. Your use case is drug to drug interaction. Like every time it's getting in the use, you're getting to know about it. So in the MO based predictive, it is sepsis prediction, your readmission. Okay. Then we have FHIR R4, the USB standard. Your FHIR, your fast healthcare interoperability resource, is basically working as a USB. If for example, that either it's a Dell laptop or a Mac, the USB plug fits. So FHIR is similar, is that plug for your medical data. R4 is the first normative variant, that meaning the core structures, the patient, the observation are now stable and won't break your apps. Your HDS values are standardized. You use JSON data structures to make building global models possible. You have CDS hooks acts as a trigger. For example, you loaded a data back then that if a patient has like a blood pressure of 120 or above, then it should trigger an alarm. So CDS works as hooks. We're gonna look into that in the courses area, but here we see the analogy: a smart doorbell. When the doctor opens the door, it starts a prescription, a signal, and that signal is sent to the external CDS service. It allows the HR to proactively ask for help without the doctor having to click a button. So it is just telling you before the doctor clicks the button, it is telling you because it is loaded in it. It has it, knows the triggers, okay? You have the CDS hook workflow. How does this work? The hook. Your hook is basically an event that occurs in the EHR, your electronic health record, like patient view or medication prescribed. Then you have the request is EHR sends a JSON bundle to the CDS service containing context, like your patient ID, your user ID, and all that, the brain. The model, the external service runs the logic, rule-based or ML model using the FHIR data that has been provided to you. The brain is going to work on it now. The card, the service returns a card, a visual alert, a suggestion, or a link to a deeper app that you're supposed to take care of yourself, just get control over your blood pressure or something like that. Your smart own FHIR, your app layer, the app store for healthcare. Your analogy is login with Google. It provides a standard way to launch your external apps inside the EHR, securing using your view, while CDS hooks provide a simple alert. It gives you a simple alert, which is smart on FHIR, provides a rich user interface for your complex tasks, which could be like dose calculators or your genetic risk visualizers and all that. What is its integration? Your CDS hook card often contains a launch button or for a smart app. This is how your app is working. We're going to move on to the hands-on to see what we're doing here. Okay, so this is all the information we have. Your resource type is observation, your status is final, your code is this, and all that. The value you're giving it is 150, all right? So this is your value for the blood pressure of a patient. First, we define the function, the brain. We check up the BP and FHIR observation, BP value, we're giving it a quality value. The quality value is 150. If blood pressure is greater than 140, okay, if it is greater than 140, then it says that if this specific value is greater than this, then return us the summary saying that high blood pressure alert, your CDS trigger, and then the indicator is warning and your detail is patient blood pressure is VP value this, whatever it is. Consider starting anti-hypertensives. Okay, it is giving you a recommendation as well that what you're supposed to do and advice, prescription as well. If not, then return none. We create a mock FHIR data, the input mock observations. Our mock observation of one specific patient, the value we had was 155. What do you think it is going to give us as an output? Obviously, it is very obvious. We're going to print the results. The summary it's giving us is high blood pressure alert. Why? Because the value is greater than 140, and we told this model that if the value is greater than 140, then return the summary as high blood pressure alert. It is doing that. It is giving us an indicator as warning. Detail is that patient's blood pressure is 155 and the patient should start considering antihypertensives. I just added this small little thing for you guys that I want you guys to practice on your own. Change the value, change the things there. You could use as sugar levels, blood pressures, or anything else. So if you use 120, this is not going to give you anything. Why? Because it is less than the 140. I want you to practice with different numbers, all right? And all of this is the way your Python is going to record your data, the record, okay? So this is your hook patient view, hook instance is this, your ID is this, and your patient ID is this. And just look at it. That's exactly how you're supposed to record your data in Python or any other notebook that you have, which is online. So yeah, this is it, I think, for this lecture, and I hope it is all clear to you guys. Do practices at always, and you'll be good to go. See you in the next one.